Welcome to Foundations in Pre-Calculus Math 10. We are on Chapter 3. We are looking at Section 3.3. And we're not quite to Section 3.3. This is actually a warm-up or a skill builder. We need to learn about Alg-Tiles first. So, this is Section 3.3 skill builder, like I said. We are multiplying and dividing a binomial by a constant. The first thing we need to know is what a polynomial is. A polynomial is one term or the sum of terms and often has variables in it, like x, y, z, t. So here are three types of polynomials. A monomial has one term. For example, like 5a is a monomial. The number 6 is a monomial. Or 2x squared by itself is a monomial. A binomial has two terms, like 2c plus 5, or 3y squared minus 2y. A trinomial has three terms. For example, 4b squared minus 5b plus 2. The three terms are 4b squared minus 5b plus 2. That's a trinomial. Now, we can use algebra tiles, often called Alg-Tiles, to model polynomials. This tile represents the number 1. This tile represents x, or a variable, and this tile represents x squared, or any other variable squared. Since we are using gray tiles, we're just representing positive terms, like plus 1, plus x, or plus x squared. So, let's look at the first example. To multiply 2 times 3x plus 1, we're going to use algebra tiles to show two rows of 3 x's and 1 squared. So we have one row that represents 3x plus 1 and another row that represents 3x plus 1, giving us 6 x's and 2 1's. So therefore, 2 times 3x plus 1 is 6x plus 2. To use the distributive property, we can multiply each term in the binomial by the constant. In this case, we'll multiply 2 times 3x and 2 times 1. So 2 times 3x gives us 6x, and 2 times 1 gives us 2. Either way, we get 6x plus 2. For the second example, let's take 4x squared plus 8x and divide the whole thing by 2. So to use algebra tiles, we'll do 4 x squared shapes, 8 x shapes, and we'll put it into groups of 2 equal rows. So here is an x squared, x squared, thus giving us 4. We have 8 x's, and notice it's in 2 groups. So in each row there are 2 x squareds and 4 x's. So 4x squared plus 8x divided by 2 is equal to 2x squared plus 4x. Using division, we divide each term of the binomial by 2. So we could also say 4x squared plus 8x, all divided by 2, is like 4x squared divided by 2 plus 8x divided by 2. 4x squared divided by 2 is like 4 divided by 2 gives us 2, and 8 divided by 2 gives us 4. Either way, we get 2x squared plus 4x in both cases. Note, as I said, the x tile or x squared tile can represent any variable like y or c. So let's look at an example. Here we're going to multiply 3 times the binomial 4b plus 2. To use Alg-Tiles, we'd need 3 rows of 4x's and 2 singles. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 singles. This gives us a total of 12 x's and 6 singles. So 3 times 4b plus 2 is equal to 12b plus 6. If I was to use the distributive property, which is my preferred method, I'd do 3 times 4b and 3 times 2. This gives me 3 times 4 is 12b, and 3 times 2 is 6. You go ahead and try number 2, where you divide 9r squared plus 6r over 3. Ask Mr. Johns for help if you can't get it. The next thing in section 3.3 Skill Builder, we're going to multiply and divide a binomial by a monomial. So we have two different sets of polynomials. Here we have a monomial and here we have a binomial, and there's variables associated with each. So using Alg-Tiles, we would outline a rectangle with length 3 x's and 1 little square and a width of 2 x's. So fill in the rectangle with x squareds and x's. So here we have 2 x's, 3 x's, and 1. And what we're left with, if we take this size, is 6x squareds and 2 x's. So there's 6 x squareds and 2 x's. So 2x times 3x plus 1 is equal to 6x squared plus 2x. If I'm to use the distributive property like before, we'll have 2x times 3x and 2x times 1, and 2 times 3 is 6, x times x is x squared, and 2x times 1 is 2x. In both cases, I get 6x squared plus 2x. Now, let's try dividing. Here we have 4x squared plus 8x divided by 2x. So to use algebra tiles, we'll arrange 4x squareds and 8 x's in a rectangle with a width of 2 x's. So here is my 4x squareds and my 8 x's. If I look at the dimensions, it's 2x by 2x plus 4. So the length of the rectangle is 2x plus 4. So 4x squared plus 8x divided by 2x is equal to 2x plus 4. Using division without Alg-Tiles, to take 4x squared plus 8x and divide it by 2x is like dividing each term by 2x. 4x squared divided by 2x is 4 divided by 2 is 2. X squared divided by x is 1x. 8x divided by 2x is 8 divided by 2 is 4. And x divided by x reduces to 1. So 2x plus 4 is the answer in both cases. Remember that x squared over x equals x, and x over x is equal to 1. Let's try an example together. This is page 153 in the second example where we're dividing 6a squared plus 8a divided by 2a. What we need to do is to arrange 6 a squared tiles and 8 a tiles in a rectangle with a width of 2 a-sized tiles. So my 6 I will think of in groups of 3. My 8 I will think of in groups of 4. Because I wanted my rectangle to be 2a wide. My length is therefore 3a plus 4. 3a plus 4. So 6a squared plus 8a divided by 2a is 3a plus 4. So using division, we'll divide each term of the binomial by 2a, like here. So 2a. 6a squared divided by 2a is 6 divided by 2 is 3. A squared divided by a is a. 8a divided by 2a is 8 divided by 2 is 4. And a divided by a is 1. So we're left with 3a plus 4 in both cases. Your task is to finish example 1 up here, and then we'll be moving on to section 3.3 tomorrow. Thank you.